everyone, Stephanie Denman here from the Denman Homestead, and today I figured I would take a little bit of a break from canning and I wanted to check out my cookbooks that I'm still trying to use, the old 100-year cookbooks that I've got that I wanted to try out to see how they cooked in the past. And yeah, I thought today would be a really great day to do that, so I could just take a break from garden stuff and bring you along with me. And one of my favorite things ever in the morning, whenever the kids, so every Friday, Alora and Connor, as a reward for not killing each other during the week, we go through the donut shop before school. And Alora's go-to is either a pink sprinkle or a kolache, and Connor's is donut holes and a white icing donut with peanuts on top. That's his thing, that's his go-to. My go-to is an apple fritter. Absolutely love them. So in my old cookbook that I received from one of you guys, mailed it to me, I'll show it to you. This cookbook was originally, I believe, made in 1910 and was revised, this one right here was revised in 1940. So it still has the original recipes and then revised and added some more. But it is The Way to a Man's Heart, the Settlement Cookbook. And this book is like old. So yeah, it was loved. I don't know who had it previously, but it's been loved and used, you can tell. And they had a fritter recipe. So I was going through, I'm like, what can I make? There's a lot of stuff I could be making from my garden, but then I found the apple fritters. Well, there's a whole bunch of fritters. Cherry, pineapple, apple, queen fritters, all just fruit fritters in general. So yeah, I love apple fritters though. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna make apple fritters, and that way we can see how they made them back in the day. I will say, last time I did one of these recipes was the 100-year-old zucchini bread recipe, and I got a lot of feedback of, oh, you don't have to peel the zucchini. All you have to do is just grate it with the peel on, or you don't have to squeeze out the excess moisture. You can just leave it the way it is. That's the way I do it. And I get it, and I totally understand, and I would have made it that way myself too, but I'm following the old way recipe. So I'm going to follow it just as they have it in the book, because that's the way they did it. And then this one, I might do a little bit of a variation of what I think would be a good apple fritter too, but I'm going to do the original to give it all of its glory, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of my own touch to some of them as well. So over here, let's start with the ingredients. Okay, so in this cookbook, and I will put the ingredients and the directions and everything linked in the video description, so if you're interested in that, you can go there and look for this. But it has a base. It has a fritter base, and then you basically, it'll give you like what to do if you're gonna do pineapples or cherry or apples or whatever else. So there's a base, a fritter base, and there's number 1 and number 2. I think we're going to go with number 1 because it looks like it has more of the batter than the number 2 version. And the number 1 version, it calls for 1 1/3 cups flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and 2/3 cups milk, and 1 egg. And so we're going to do that version. I'm not going to put the second version up because I'm not going to use it, but I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. It's number 2 fritter batter is 1 egg separated, 1/4 cup water or milk, 1/8 of a teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup of flour, and 1 tablespoon melted butter. So it's a little bit of a different batter. So we are going to just do batter number 1. So we are going to mix and sift the dry ingredients, and then add milk gradually and the eggs, well beaten. Use batter for the following fritter recipes. Okay, so let's do the dry ingredients first. Okay, and it doesn't say what kind of flour, so I'm just going to use an all-purpose flour. 1 1/3 cups. And it says to sift them all together, so I'm going to be using my my flour sifter. I'm going to put all the dry ingredients in here, and then I'm just going to sift them into my bowl. Let me move you so you can see. A little bit better. Okay. 1 1/3 cups. This recipe book had me cracking up last night when I was looking through it. I mean, it tells you how to be a good hostess, gives you all these lessons on setting the table, and you know, just the old ways that that women were expected to host, and what a finger food is, and what an appetizer is, and how to fold napkins, and you know, how soup should be served, and just something called a Russian formal setup. There's like a Russian formal. I don't know. I didn't read into it that much. So there's one. Let's do the third. Okay, and now we need 2 teaspoons baking powder. Okay, baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, okay, so I'm going to sift these dry ingredients now into this bowl. Okay. Got that sifted together, and now it says add milk gradually and the eggs well beaten. So we need 2/3 cups of milk. I think I can remember this. So we can go to the next page. 2/3 cups milk. The recipe on the bottom, or on the other pages right at the bottom, I couldn't read it, so I had to kept trying to close on me. 2/3 cups milk. It's interesting to me that there's no sugar. No sugar in the batter, which is good. A lot of the recipes that I've been doing lately have a ton of sugar. And then 1 egg beaten. So I just beat this egg and I'm going to add it into there. And I'm going to mix gradually. This is a pretty stiff dough. Wasn't really expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's kind of like a wet biscuit dough. So that's the dough. It's kind of a wet sticky dough. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna overmix it. So I'm not gonna overmix it. I'm just gonna leave it wet like that. Just till it's all incorporated. So we're going to set this aside because that is the base for fritter number 1 batter. And now let's prepare for the apple fritters. We need 2 medium-sized sour apples. I got these Granny Smith apples. They're not medium per se, they're kind of large, so Maybe we'll just do 1.5. Powdered sugar, lemon slices. I don't know. So it says core, pare, and cut apples into 1/3 inch slices. Dip pieces in the batter. Fry in deep hot fat and served with powdered sugar and lemon slices. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stove on to get my cast iron pan on the stove over here. I've got my pan right here with some peanut oil in this. It's just about, I don't know if you can see, not even half of my fingertip, maybe 1/4 my fingertip in there of oil. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on to start it getting hot while I prepare the apples. Okay, I have my apples peeled, and I'm just going to, I don't have an apple core, so I'm just going to cut the apple away from the core. And then it said to cut them into 1/3 inch slices, dip pieces in batter, and fry in deep hot fat. I'm gonna call an audible, okay? Instead of the 1/3 slices, I think I'm gonna do them in chunks. Like, I don't know, like the apple fritters that I'm used to. Well, you know what? For the sake of the recipe, let's do it in 1/3 slices and we'll see how it turns out. 1/3 inch. Why is it 1/3 inch? Not a 1/2 inch, not a full inch, but 1/3 inch. We'll just go with it here. We'll leave these as the test pieces over here, but the rest I'm gonna cube up the way I would have done it. I think Buddy is going to come home for lunch, so I'll have him as a tester. So I've got a little pile of chopped apples in little cubes. And then I've got my 1/3 inch-ish slices. So the recipe calls for 1/3 inch slices. So we're going to try them this way, and then we're also going to try them the cubed up diced apple version way, which I think is the more traditional, what we're used to. Okay, I have all my stuff moved over here, my batter and my apples, and my cast iron skillet going with the peanut oil, and I'm just going to test to see if the oil is ready. The way I was taught is you can put like a wooden spoon in your pan, and if it starts to bubble, it should be ready to fry, and it is. It's slightly bubbling here, so we will go with that, and let's get into it. So I'm gonna dip it like the recipe book said. Might get a little messy. So dipping it really, because it's not like thin enough. Maybe if I just roll it, roll it around in there. It's almost like, almost have to like wrap it. This is going to be messy. That's okay. I just want to make sure it's like coated in the dough, okay? You want to coat it. So, here's one slice. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in. Maybe I'll just stick with 2 slices since this is a kind of a messier version. And then I'll put the cubed in there. next. See how it turns out. Okay, I'm gonna wash my fingers and then I'm gonna add in these apples. Over here I have a rack sitting on top of a cookie sheet. That way I can just take them from the fryer over here to let them drain, and then I can sprinkle them with some powdered sugar on top. They probably figured out that maybe getting those slices in there with the dough all around them would have been an easier task if they were just cubed and you can mix them all in the batter. I'm just folding in these apple cubes in this batter here. I just eyeballed it. I measured with my heart here. So I'm just kind of folding in these apple pieces into the fritter batter, and kind of until they're all well incorporated. Might have added too many apples, but that's okay. Now I'm just going to take a spoonful of this mixture and just put it down in the oil. Down just a little bit. If I had to guess, I'd say that's probably half a cup. Okay, now that I've got the original slices and then the original dough with some cubes, I want to add in a little bit of something that I think would be really good for apple fritters. And I'm going to add in some ground cinnamon to the rest of this dough. Just a little bit, a little sprinkle. Kind of fold it in. I want to see if I can see what Buddy thinks of the original versus if he can guess the secret ingredient of the other one that I did just now. Okay, let me take out these because these are probably done. Well, let me flip that over. Woo. Okay. So these two little nuggets over here are going to be the original recipe there. Now I'll do my spin, my take on the fritter here. We'll have to keep them separate. These are looking good. Nice and golden brown. Probably take these out. Now remember, these two right here, these were the original fritter recipe, just with the cubed apples. I'm not really watching the clock to see how long it's taking to fry these. I'm just kind of eyeballing how they look. While these continue to cook, come over here with me. Now I'm going to dust these with powdered sugar. Just going to Lightly tap it. On both of these. Oh, I hear a door opening. Hey, baby.
What are you making?
It is a surprise. Do you have any guesses? Does it smell?
It looks like a funnel cake.
It does look like a funnel cake. I didn't even think of that.
Uh-huh.
Here, let me move back so you can say hello. So, it kind of smells like a funnel cake, I'll give you that. But it's not a funnel cake. It is apple fritters.
Apple fritters?
Yeah, a 110-year-old recipe.
Really?
Yes.
Like the donut apple fritters?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So I wanted to try the apple fritters the way that the recipe called for them, and then I also added in my own spin of something, and I wanted to see which one you liked better.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready.
Okay, give me a few minutes. Okay, so while he's outside, instead of dusting the remaining ones with powdered sugar, I want to make a glaze, like a glaze icing with some powdered sugar and some vanilla. And then I'm going to drizzle it over the fritter. So let's do that real quick while he's outside. And you just need a little bit of whatever liquid it is because it will start to incorporate pretty quickly. A little bit of vanilla, and then I'm going to add just a splash of water. So I'm just mixing this powdered sugar with a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of water, and I'm making a glaze with it. That's all it is. This is actually perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna glaze these really quick. Now remember, the ones that are glazed were the ones that I just kind of did my own thing with. Let's see. With them. Now these are still hot, so this glaze is gonna run off pretty quick. Okay. Man, they smell good. I hope they taste as good as they smell. All right, let me go call Buddy in. Okay, Buddy's here.
Glazed?
Yes. So one of these is original, and it does say to serve them with lemon slices, but I don't know what the purpose is because it doesn't say to like incorporate the lemon in it. It just says serve with lemon slices. So I'm gonna skip that part. But one of these is the original. One of these is semi-modified, and then one of these is like extra modified.
Oh, there's 3 types.
Yeah. So which one, just by appearance, do you think is the original?
The smallest one.
The smallest one.
Yep.
Okay, why? Do you feel that way?
Because they probably made it in smaller quantity or sizes back then.
You know what? That's probably what our problem is in America.
Yep.
Look at these. Look at these. Okay, but that's correct. These are going to be the originals.
Okay. Are they hot?
I don't think so.
That's good. It's not. I expected it to be sweeter for some reason.
There's no sugar in the batter.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Very fluffy.
Very fluffy. Very, very fluffy. And yeah, you only get a slight sweetness from the powdered sugar and a little bit of tart and tang from the apple. Do you want to split one of these with me?
Sure.
Since we're going to try a lot of them. Okay, so this is semi-modified. You can tell me what you think is the modified.
It's bigger.
It's bigger.
More apple. Is it like cubed or something up in there? Yep.
I'm setting mine down over here. Okay, you
Batter
ready?
seems the same.
Yes, the batter's the same. Try this last one.
Okay.
These just came off too, so hopefully they're. Okay.
Oh, I can already smell the spices. This is like a cinnamon apple version.
Yes. Pretty good. Which one do you like the best?
Man. I think they're all really good. I mean, I guess maybe the middle one, because it was more apple than the first one. The first one just seemed like not as much apple. There's more apple in the middle one, but it wasn't as sweet as the last one. I'm not big on sweets, so maybe the middle was my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might have liked this one with the cinnamon if it was a powdered sugar and not so much a glaze.
Yeah, or I could have even eaten it without anything on top.
Oh, okay.
Just as like a little pastry.
Okay. Good to know.
But they're both good.
Yeah. Let me show everyone the inside. Well, I can't show. Yeah.
Here, I'll take a bite of it.
Here, this is the inside of that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
You just want that one. This was the inside of the cubed one. It's very fluffy. And this is the inside of, oh, I'm making a mess. The inside of the one with the sliced apple in it. So the batter is super fluffy, very light and airy. And I think they turned out really well. It's different from the fritter that you get at the donut store. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah, it seems like the one at the donut store is way sweeter.
Yeah. I think the one at the donut store, they put sugar in the dough.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, to add it, give it a more sweetness. But yeah, this is, yeah, it's really good. A really good morning, to-go morning thing on the go, so.
Yeah.
With coffee.
Yep.
But thank you so much for joining me today in the kitchen making apple fritters, which is my favorite donut. And I think these turned out really well for 1910 recipe.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys. That was really good.